Hi, this video is for both parents and students that are looking at their students' grades and trying to figure out what's happening, what's going on. So I have a screenshot here of a low grade. So this is a student that has an F in one of my classes, and they're missing some common assignments. I'm seeing this for a handful of students in each period, and I'm not getting very many students coming in for help. I'm getting a few, but not very many. So this video is to help if you are one of those students or parents of one of those students who doesn't really feel comfortable getting help but wants to raise their grade. So let's walk through each of these assignments. So right now, all of these are part of the 20% category, so they're not worth as much as a quiz. And we haven't had any quizzes yet. There will be one coming up when they come back from break. It's getting moved. So you'll see a better reflection of what you know once we have that quiz. Right now, your grade is purely made up of these homework and classwork assignments. Each of them are out of 1 point. So if you are not meeting the requirements, it's an automatic F because you're getting 0 points out of 1. This first assignment is very old. It was a lesson on multiplication and division, and it was really challenging for a lot of students. We spent a lot of class time on this, and to get a full point, you need to have all the corrections in on this assignment. So everything can be found in Google Classroom. So over here I have Google Classroom opened, and it's chronological. So this assignment would be towards the bottom. So I'm just going to scroll. I moved most of them up so you could find them. So here it is. Multiplication and division. This is your second draft. This is after you were allowed to work with your team and make edits. So we did work on this in class for quite a while. So go ahead and click on this link and it will open you, or it'll take you to formative where you took this pre-assessment, and this one looked like this. So multiplication and division is a concept that is taught in the younger grades, 5th grade, 4th grade, 3rd grade, but a lot of students struggle when they start to think about what that looks like for fractions. So I saw a lot of students struggling down here on the bottom portion. I have a few videos talking about dividing fractions that you can check out. I've posted all of them on Google Classroom. Let's see if I can find some of them here. Here's one example, dividing fractions with a visual. Here's some more videos that I have for fixing this assignment. So there's lots of resources. Please use them. Please come see me if you need help. Just as an example, if I go down to question number, let's say 10, that was one a lot of students had trouble with. You can see how many students still need to fix it. So here you can see only 35% of the students fix this one. A lot of students have work to do. If I look at this particular student, I have left them a comment, so maybe I'll choose a different one. So let's just take a look. So they have their first one and they have a correction here, and then I have feedback. So I'm trying to help students make corrections, and a lot of them are not addressing these comments. So if you want to respond to my comment, you can type in this area and put a star or 2 stars next to it so I know that it's been updated and I know to look at it. And I'll go ahead and do that. So that's the first item. The second item is a warm-up, and down here you'll see another warm-up. I'll talk about that last. Since these are old, it's just a little bit lower in Google Classroom. The next two here are 2 homework assignments that were both started in class. So what is division used for and which operation? These assignments were to help students, again, think about what does division really mean? What does the dividend mean? What does the divisor mean? What does the quotient mean? And so I'm going to go in Google Classroom and open both of those up. So let's see. So here's what is division used for. Here is which operation. Okay, I'm going to open both of these. I'll look at what is division used for first. That's this one here. Okay, this is a video that if you are struggling with dividing, you can watch this to get extra help. We started both of these in class. We actually did this one together. Maria cuts 12 feet of ribbon into 3 equal pieces so she can share it with her 2 sisters. How long is each piece? Show a model or visual diagram to prove your answer. So we went over in class how to use Google Drawing to show drawings like this, and If you're not comfortable using Google Drawing, I also said you could turn it in on paper, which several students did that. They also learned how to type in and make text boxes. So 4 feet. Okay, something like this is what we were doing. So they had to do it for this story. There was another story slightly different that they had to do a visual diagram. They had to compare 1 and 2. What's different about those questions? What's similar about those questions? And kind of reflect on that. I also included my own example for something a little bit more complicated where your quotient is a decimal, so 2.5. So 15 divided into 6 groups. What does this 2.5 actually mean? Well, if I'm talking about 15 cups of popcorn and I'm splitting it into 6 groups for 6 people, that means each person gets 2.5 cups of popcorn. Okay, these 3 slides relate to class task that we did where a lot of students used division to solve it, and then they didn't know what their quotient, what the answer meant. So that spurred this whole series of going back to 6th grade and 5th grade concepts to really understand division. So they were to use a model here, and they could draw it or use the computer. And then they were to think about, what is this answer? What does this quotient of 2.2 actually mean? And this was a problem where they were looking at making a juice, and the juice had 10 cups of concentrate and 22 cups of water. So they had to explain, what does that 2.2 actually mean? And then same here, this is a different type of juice recipe, and this one had a quotient of 2.17. What does that 2.17 mean? All right, so that's what is division used for. The second class assignment that then turned into homework was which operation. And again, this was really to get them to see the differences in the operations and what those visuals look like. So they had to brainstorm words that meant addition or whatever the operation was, and then showing that visually with a drawing. So they had subtraction, multiplication, and division. I told students if these examples that I wanted them to do were too hard, they could do an easier one, but the goal would eventually be able to show something like this with a visual. And if you remember, there's a video for this one. If you're stuck dividing fractions, there's a video here that shows an example of a visual. We also have lots of visuals for dividing fractions in this pre-assessment that we did together. I mean, post-assessment. We also did a pre-assessment too. So we've been doing the same concept for quite a while. If you notice your students still struggling, they really should come in during lunch for extra help, because it's going to start to really cause problems in our current unit on proportional relationships. So that's what these bottom 2 are on. These are our current assignments. We had a pre-assessment on identifying if something was in a direct proportion or not, and let's see, that one I don't have open now, so I won't show that one, but you can find it through this top. This is our current assignment here. It's in this link right here. This is the pre-assessment link. This is what they're working on right now if you want to take a look at that. Eventually we'll have a quiz on this topic, and that will be when they come back from break. So I think I still need to cover one more thing, the warm-ups. So the easiest place to look at warm-ups, if you don't want to scroll down, which I don't like to do, is just to filter on warm-ups here on the left. And then you can pull up the warm-ups here. Here's the previous one here. So if I pull these up, if you are getting a 0 but you turned it in, it's because you're not showing work. Many students said this one does not belong because the shaded in portion is not a triangle, which is great, but you need to talk about at least one more, since in class we talk about all 4, why all 4 don't belong. Another possibility is you said this one doesn't belong because the outside shape is a hexagon, or maybe you said this one has 2 pieces shaded in, whereas the other ones only have 1 piece. Maybe you talked about this one being that each of the pieces were unequal sizes, whereas in all the rest they are. Another common one that students don't show work on is the number talk, where you place in order of least to greatest several values. And in this one, students would place them in the correct order, but they didn't explain or show why they were correct, and we spent a lot of time in class proving why the order is correct. So, oops. So that's pretty much for warm-ups. You guys have until January 2nd to fix any of these zeros. After that, I'm not going to fix any of them since I keep extending and I'm not seeing enough students fix them, I'm going to have a hard deadline for this one. So please let me know. Please look today or tomorrow before we start the break so I can give you help and you're not stuck while you're working on it over break. And good luck. Thank you.